Beloved friends, sit comfortably, let the breath come, and let it go. For wealth, like breath, does not arrive by force but by alignment. Many ask, where should I place cinnamon in my home to attract money? But the awakened one would smile and ask first, where have you placed your mind? Cinnamon is not powerful because it is rare. It is powerful because it is warm, fragrant, and alive. It awakens the senses. And whatever awakens awareness also awakens opportunity. If you must choose a place, place cinnamon near the entrance of your home, the place where energy enters, the place where intention meets the world. Why the entrance? Because money, like life, is always entering or leaving. If the doorway is cluttered, confused, or ignored, abundance will pass by without stopping, just as wisdom avoids a restless mind. Place the cinnamon there gently, not with greed, not with desperation, but with gratitude. As you place it, say quietly in your heart, I welcome honest work. I welcome right effort. I welcome abundance that harms no one. Understand this truth deeply. Cinnamon does not attract money. Clarity attracts money. Right action attracts money. A peaceful mind attracts wise decisions. Cinnamon is only a reminder. When you smell it, remember to act skillfully, to spend mindfully, to earn without fear, to give without attachment. The Buddha did not teach poverty. He taught freedom from craving, and from that freedom balance naturally follows. If wealth comes, do not cling. If it delays, do not suffer. Keep the mind steady, the doorway clear, and the heart generous. Then money may come. And if it does, it will stay long enough to do good. Breathe in, breathe out. Sweep your doorway, place the cinnamon, and walk the path with awareness. Cinnamon is a symbol, not magic. It represents warmth, awareness, and intention, reminding us that abundance begins in the mind, not in objects. Cinnamon is not magic, and this understanding is the first door to wisdom. Many people search for objects that will change their fastest stones, symbols, ritual shopping. These things will pull wealth toward them without effort. But the Buddha taught that nothing outside us has power unless the mind gives it power. Cinnamon in this teaching is not a spell. It is a reminder. Its value lies not in superstition but in awareness. When you smell cinnamon, something happens immediately. The senses wake up. The mind becomes present. For a brief moment, you are no longer lost in yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's fears. This is its true purpose. Awareness is the soil in which abundance grows. A distracted mind spends poorly, chooses poorly, and fears constantly. A mindful mind sees opportunities clearly, acts at the right time, and does not panic when conditions change. Warmth is the nature of cinnamon. Warmth in life attracts cooperation, trust, and goodwill. People are drawn to those who move through the world calmly and confidently. Business flows more easily to a person whose mind is steady than to one ruled by anxiety. Cinnamon reminds us to cultivate this inner warmth, not impatience, not greed, but quiet confidence rooted in balance. Fragrance spreads without force. Cinnamon does not chase the air comes to it. In the same way, wealth responds best to alignment rather than desperation. When actions are skillful, when effort is consistent, and when motives are clean, results arrive naturally. The scent teaches us that pushing too hard creates resistance, while calm persistence creates flow. Cinnamon also reminds us of effort. It comes from bark that has been carefully harvested, dried, and prepared. Nothing about it is instant. In this way, it reflects the Buddha's teaching that right livelihood and right effort are essential. Wealth that arrives through confusion, harm, or dishonesty carries suffering with it. Wealth that grows from patience and integrity supports peace instead of disturbing it. When people say cinnamon attracts money, what they truly mean, often without realizing it, is that cinnamon helps them remember their intention. Intention shapes behavior. Behavior shapes habits. Habits shape destiny. Without awareness, even great opportunities are wasted. With awareness, even small chances are transformed into lasting stability. If cinnamon is placed in the home with craving, it becomes useless. Craving tightens the mind. It leads to fear, hoarding, and poor judgment. But when it is placed with gratitude, it becomes a silent teacher. Each time you notice it, you are invited to ask, am I acting wisely? Am I spending consciously? Am I working with patience and clarity? The Buddha taught that suffering arises not from lack but from attachment. Cinnamon gently reminds us to seek abundance without clinging. Money is a tool, not an identity. When the mind understands this, wealth can come and go without disturbing inner peace. So cinnamon does not attract money. It attracts mindfulness. And mindfulness practiced daily attracts wise choices. Wise choices create stability. Stability creates abundance. This is the true path, quiet, grounded, and free from illusion. Place it at the entrance of your home. The doorway symbolizes incoming energy and opportunities. A clear, mindful entrance invites flow, financial and otherwise. The entrance of a home is more than just a door. It is a threshold where the outside world meets your inner sanctuary. In Buddhist teaching, this space holds profound significance because it is a place of transition, a space where energy flows in and out. The way we care for this threshold reflects how we interact with life's opportunities. When we speak of placing cinnamon near the entrance, it is not a superstition or a magical act. It is a mindful practice, a gentle invitation for clarity, abundance, and harmony to enter alongside us. The entrance represents openness, and openness attracts positive conditions. Every object we place near the doorway carries meaning, consciously or unconsciously. Cinnamon, with its warm color and fragrant aroma, acts as a subtle signal to the mind. It reminds us to maintain awareness, to greet each opportunity with clarity, and to recognize the value of effort over instant results. In the same way that a well-tended garden welcomes birds and sunlight, a clear and mindful doorway welcomes prosperity, ideas, and opportunities. By placing cinnamon at this threshold, we cultivate not greed or expectation, but mindfulness and intention. It is not the cinnamon that attracts wealth, but the consciousness it inspires within us. Consider how people move through life when the entrance to their mind is cluttered, distracted, or anxious. Opportunities may appear, but they are ignored or mishandled. Wealth and success require more than desire, they require preparedness, calmness, and insight. The doorway, both physical and mental, becomes the symbol of readiness. Just as you would not place clutter at the entrance of your home and expect peace to follow, you cannot cultivate abundance with a restless or disorganized mind. Cinnamon, in its quiet presence, encourages the mind to pause, observe, and align with the flow of life. The act of placing cinnamon is also a practice in mindfulness itself. When done with care, it is a ritual of intention. You notice the texture, the color, the scent. You acknowledge the energy of the space. You silently commit to actions that reflect honesty, diligence, and generosity. In Buddhism, intention is the seed from which results grow. By consciously placing cinnamon near the entrance, you are planting a seed of awareness that shapes your actions, decisions, and ultimately your path to abundance. The doorway symbolizes transitions, movement, and flow. Wealth, like energy, moves continuously. A blocked or neglected threshold can repel opportunities, while a clear and mindful one welcomes them. Cinnamon, placed with gratitude and mindfulness, becomes a gentle reminder that abundance is a natural result of clarity and right action. It encourages us to cultivate calmness, openness, and integrity at the very point where the world enters our home, ensuring that we receive life's gifts wisely and without attachment. Thus, the placement of cinnamon at the entrance is not about chasing wealth, but about aligning oneself with the principles that naturally lead to prosperity. By honoring this space, by infusing it with awareness and respect, we create conditions for money, opportunity, and good fortune to flow harmoniously into our lives. It is a simple act, yet one rich with meaning, teaching us that the path to abundance begins with mindfulness, intention, and readiness at the threshold where life meets us. Intention matters more than placement. Cinnamon works as a reminder to welcome honest work, right effort, and abundance without greed or fear. Intention is the quiet force that guides our lives, yet it is often overlooked in the pursuit of wealth. People search for symbols, rituals, or objects they believe will draw abundance. Yet the Buddha reminds us that nothing external has power without the mind's alignment. Cinnamon, when placed in the home, is not a tool of magic but a vessel of intention. Its fragrance and presence serve as gentle reminders to focus the mind, to act with purpose, and to cultivate habits that naturally lead to prosperity. Wealth follows clarity, effort, and awareness, not superstition or blind hope. When placing cinnamon in the home, it is essential to approach the act with mindfulness. This is not a hurried gesture nor an impulsive placement meant to force results. Instead, it is a deliberate practice, a way to infuse daily life with conscious awareness. As you hold the cinnamon, observe its texture, its scent, and the warmth of its color. Allow these qualities to awaken a sense of attentiveness within yourself. This attentiveness is the true gift of cinnamon. It encourages you to notice the patterns of your own mind, the habits that lead to waste, distraction, or fear, and the habits that promote clarity, productivity, and wise decision-making. Cinnamon also symbolizes the fruits of patience and care. It is harvested, dried, and prepared with precision, requiring effort and time before it becomes the fragrant spice we use. In the same way, wealth and stability require careful cultivation. Money does not arrive simply because we desire it. It comes to those who act skillfully, nurture their skills, and maintain integrity in their choices. Cinnamon reminds us that abundance is not instant. It grows from consistent effort and mindful attention to each action we take. Each time we see or smell the cinnamon, we are reminded to return to this principle, to act with patience, discipline, and respect for the process of life. The mind's intention shapes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. If cinnamon is placed with craving or desperation, it becomes an empty gesture. The mind tightens, anxious and restless, seeking results before effort has been invested. But when it is placed with gratitude and conscious purpose, it becomes a teacher. It encourages right effort, mindfulness in spending, honesty in earning, and generosity in giving. Each interaction with this simple spice reinforces the practice of awareness, guiding the mind toward choices that naturally support abundance. Wealth, like all things, is impermanent. It comes and goes, and attachment brings suffering. Cinnamon, as a reminder of intention, helps us cultivate non-attachment while remaining receptive to opportunity. It teaches that money is a tool, a reflection of effort and clarity, rather than an end in itself. By anchoring intention in the simple act of placing cinnamon, we align ourselves with the principles that truly attract prosperity: mindfulness, right action, patience, and gratitude. Through this practice, the mind becomes fertile ground for abundance, and life unfolds in harmony with our highest intentions. Clarity attracts wealth. A peaceful, disciplined, and mindful mind leads to wise decisions, which naturally create financial stability. Clarity is the foundation upon which all abundance rests. The Buddha taught that suffering arises from confusion, craving, and attachment, and in the same way, wealth eludes those whose minds are clouded by distraction or fear. Cinnamon, when placed thoughtfully in the home, serves as a gentle reminder to cultivate clarity. Its presence calls attention to the mind's state, prompting us to examine how we think, how we act, and how we respond to the opportunities before us. True wealth begins not with external objects, but with the cultivation of a clear, focused, and disciplined mind. A mind clouded by worry, greed, or impatience is unable to recognize opportunity, and even when fortune arrives, it is often squandered. Cinnamon's warm aroma awakens the senses, bringing us back to the present moment. Each inhalation becomes an invitation to notice our thoughts, to observe our intentions, and to align our actions with wisdom. The Buddha emphasized that right understanding precedes right action, and without clarity, effort can be wasted. Cinnamon in this sense is not a charm or a talisman, it is a tool for mindfulness, reminding us to approach life with a steady, attentive awareness. Clarity also involves honesty with oneself. Placing cinnamon in the home is an opportunity to reflect: are my choices guided by skillful intention? Do I pursue wealth with integrity, or am I distracted by desire and impatience? By engaging with these questions, we cultivate insight, which is essential for sustained prosperity. Wealth that arises from confusion or deception brings suffering. Wealth that arises from clarity and integrity supports a life of balance and freedom. Cinnamon becomes a silent teacher, signaling when the mind drifts toward distraction or attachment and gently calling it back to presence. Beyond personal insight, clarity affects how we interact with the world. A focused mind communicates clearly, acts decisively, and perceives opportunities that might be missed by those in haste or turmoil. Business, work, and relationships flow more smoothly when approached with awareness, patience, and understanding. Cinnamon's presence, especially near the entrance of the home where energy and intention meet, serves as a daily reminder to maintain clarity at the point where our inner life meets the outer world. It encourages us to prepare, to act with wisdom, and to welcome opportunity with discernment. Clarity also fosters gratitude and non-attachment. When the mind is clear, we recognize that money is a tool, not an identity, and that abundance is a natural result of skillful effort and mindful living. Cinnamon reminds us to maintain this perspective. By returning to the present moment, observing our intentions, and aligning our actions with wisdom, we create conditions for abundance to arise naturally. In this way, clarity becomes the magnet for prosperity, and cinnamon becomes a gentle guide, anchoring the mind to presence, integrity, and discernment. Through this simple practice, the mind transforms into fertile ground, ready to attract not just material wealth, but the richness of understanding, peace, and harmonious living that the Buddha so deeply valued. Non-attachment sustains abundance. Money flows best when welcomed with gratitude and released without clinging, allowing it to serve a higher good. Non-attachment is one of the deepest teachings of the Buddha, and it holds a special significance when we speak of wealth. Many people seek money with a tight grip, as though abundance could be held in the hand without ever slipping. Yet clinging creates fear, anxiety, and imbalance, and even when wealth arrives, it brings more suffering than freedom. Cinnamon, when placed in the home with mindfulness, becomes a subtle reminder to practice non-attachment. It encourages us to welcome abundance without clinging, to receive life's gifts with gratitude, and to release them with ease when their time has passed. The fragrance of cinnamon is gentle, persistent, and unforced. It does not demand attention, it invites it. In the same way, non-attachment invites the mind to engage with the world without being bound by desire or fear. Money may come and it may go. The mind that clings tightly to it experiences stress and restlessness, while the mind that practices non-attachment remains steady, observant, and peaceful. By placing cinnamon in a mindful spot, such as near the entrance, we create a space that reminds us daily to balance our desires with understanding, to act with care, and to let go of outcomes we cannot control. Non-attachment does not mean neglect or passivity. It does not teach that one should ignore responsibility or effort. On the contrary, it encourages the highest form of engagement. We act with diligence, honesty, and skill, knowing that the results are never entirely in our hands. Cinnamon becomes a symbol of this approach. Each time we notice its presence, we are reminded to act rightly, to earn responsibly, and to spend wisely without fear of losing or clinging to what comes. In this way, our relationship with wealth is transformed from one of anxiety to one of harmony. Generosity is a natural companion to non-attachment. When we hold lightly to what we have, we are free to give, to share, and to support others. Cinnamon, in its quiet presence, encourages this flow, Money is not simply a possession, it is energy. When we allow it to circulate with mindfulness, it multiplies not only materially but also in the richness it brings to life relationships, trust and well-being. Those who cling tightly to wealth often experience isolation, while those who practice non-attachment discover that abundance flows more freely when shared wisely and compassionately. Finally, non-attachment cultivates inner freedom. Wealth may come in many forms: money, opportunity or success, but it is never permanent. By placing cinnamon with the awareness of impermanence and non-clinging, we remind ourselves that our peace and contentment do not depend on external conditions. True abundance arises when the mind is calm, clear and generous. Cinnamon becomes more than a spice, it becomes a teacher, gently guiding us to welcome wealth with gratitude, act with integrity and release with ease. In this practice, we align with the natural flow of life, attracting prosperity not through desperation but through balance, mindfulness and freedom from attachment. The heart that practices non-attachment opens fully, and in that openness, wealth, both material and spiritual, finds a natural home.